Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's just past 7:30. We would love to get our service started. If you could find your way to the seating, and if you're over by the tables, you may need to bring some chairs over as you make your way there, because I got a feeling looks to be about 24 seats available. So you might want to bring your own chair over.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol Hashemat, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Baruch Adonai leolam, amen.
What's the thing with sitting in the chair and walking to the door?
Baruch Adonai mitzion shochein Yerushalayim, hallelujah. Kol Hashemat, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol Hashemat, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Baruch Adonai leolam, amen. Baruch Adonai mitzion shochein Yerushalayim, hallelujah.
As we are under the beautiful canopy of stars this evening, our instructions about exits and all that kinds of stuff are significantly minimized. But I invite you to all have just look around you. If in the remote possibility that we are forced to evacuate, our custom is to enter the parking lot and go to the back wall. Is this gate open? Is this gate open? So these gates are not open, but there's and the front door, even, of course, we can exit through the front in worst case scenario. So I think that's really about all of the precautions that we need to be concerned with this evening. Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom. It's wonderful to be with you and to celebrate on this Shabbat with you. Just a few notes, because it's outdoor service this evening. If you haven't noticed, we are outdoors, and it will get dark. So we do have some lighting that we've added in the back, and I'm told that there is new lighting coming soon, with the special thanks to Deanna and Marla White for organizing that. But it will not be here for our outdoor Shabbats, which in 2 weeks. This year. It'll be here for our future outdoor Shabbats. So after it gets dark, just be careful as you go in and out. There should be enough lighting for going in and out. There won't be enough lighting by the end of the service to really read your book, but that's okay, because we're going to just experience it all together.
Shemay de Kudasha Barehu Le'elan min kol birhata V'shirata Tush behata v'nechemata Dami Rabbi Alma V'maru Amen.
We rise for Baruch Hu, our call to prayer, page 28. Go ahead, just reading.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Chamavorah. Baruch Adonai Chamavorah Le'olam Va'ed. Praise Adonai, to whom praise is due forever. Praise be Adonai, to whom praise is due now and forever.
Lai la 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 la. Lai la 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 la. Lai la 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 la. Lai la 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 la. Lai la 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 la. Lai la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach, Hamevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Hamevorach, Hamevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Last three lines in the Hebrew on page 30, El Chai V'Kayam.
El Chai V'Kayam Tamidim L'Chaleinu L'Olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai
Baruch Shemo.
Amariv Aravi.
Amen. Page 33. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery.
Ve'havatecha tamidim l'chaleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael. Yisrael.
Amen. Page 34 and 35, Shema Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kavod, Malchudo, Leolam Va'ed. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
May be seated. We continue with Ve'ahavta. The Hebrew and the English of the prayer are on page 36.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol vavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinamtam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvletecha v'aderech u'shochbecha uv'kumecha u'shartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tiskeru v'atzitem et kol mitzvotai v'yetem kedoshim Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotziatiachem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
Adonai Elohechem. Amen. You can sit for a little while, then you'll come back up for Amidah. We turn to page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there's a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Mi Chamocha, our Song of Freedom, page 40.
Mi Chamocha, Bailim Adonai, Mi Chamocha, Nedar Bakodesh, Nora Tehilot, Osei Feleh. Mi Chamocha, Bailim Adonai, Mi Chamocha, Nedar Bakodesh, Nora Tehilot, Osei מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי אנו, ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך ואלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורא תהילות עושה פלא. נורא תהילות עושה פלא. נורא תהילות עושה פלא. ונאמר כי ודע אדוני את יעקב וגואלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Amen. Page 42, we ask the Holy One to watch over us and to protect us as night descends, to cover us with a Sukkot Shalom, a shelter of peace. Help us lie down in wholeness and rise up to with purpose and passion each and every day. Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, Hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, Hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ushmor tzeiteinu uvoenu. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ushmor tzeiteinu uvoenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, V'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
We give thanks for Shabbat, for the opportunity it gives us to connect with our deepest selves, with our community, with the Holy One, for the opportunity it gives us to take a breath and just be present. Join in singing Vishamru, page 44.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam ritolam. Together. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam ritolam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafat v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabbat la'asot et hashabbat v'dorotam ritolam v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabbat.
We turn to page 46. Invite everybody who's comfortably able to do so to please rise. No, you're going to play. He's going to give you a cue. So.
Adonai, Sephai 5 Juta, Ufia Gita Hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Velohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Velohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Velohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, Eloyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Hasei Avot v'Imahot, Umegivu Livnei V'neihem, Lima'an Shemo, Be'avah, Melech Ozer Umashia Umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Vezrat
Sarah. Page 50.
Atagi Borle Lam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol atah, Rav Leoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechakel Hayim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Kofer Holim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayer Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Mihamocha Ba'al Gevuro, Umido Melah, Melech Memit, Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol.
Page 52. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. please take a few moments for silent prayer for the text of your own heart. When you're through, you may be seated.
Shabbat Shalom. So nice to be here this first Shabbat under the stars. Love these services. Just going to say the piece that I'm going to contribute is called May the Words. You're obviously very aware of it. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable unto you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. The composer for this setting is Raymond Smolover. I've played this piece before specifically for the outdoor service. He just passed away in 2015 at the age of 94. He was very active for more than 4 decades, composing music specifically for the Reform movement. And the challenge of doing this piece, I normally do it as a duet because Smolover envisioned it as a duet for 2 voices or 2 instruments, so I'm trying to consolidate it into 1 solo line, so it makes it a little more difficult. We usually have our flautist, Dana, available, but she is not here tonight, so I will try my best. May the words.
Beautiful, thank you. So in the beginning of today's Torah reading, we have a verse that provides us with one of the most fundamental and basic concepts of Jewish tradition. And at the end of today's Torah reading, we realize a tension that can sometimes put us in and how that gets resolved. The portion begins with the words, Re'eh anochi noten lifnechem hayom bracha uklala. Behold, I set before you on this day blessing and curse. In these words, the concept of bichira chovshit, of free will, right, is presented to us. And of course, the season that we will be entering beginning next week, with the beginning of Elul, is also a season of repentance and change, and that can only be when we have free will. We can only make change in our lives if we have the capability to do so. We are given the opportunity to make choices. We understand that we're shaped by all sorts of things in the world, but in the end, we are responsible for what we do. And in many ways, I've talked about this before, I think we can say about Judaism that Judaism is very much a tradition about you are what you do, more than what you believe, certainly more than you are what you eat. It is you are what you do in a Jewish tradition. And our Torah portion concludes with a subject that seemingly has nothing to do with how it began. It concludes with a review of three pilgrimage festivals of Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot. Passover commemorating the Exodus from Egypt, Shavuot commemorating the revelation at Sinai, Sukkot, the temporary shelters that we traveled in the wilderness on the way to the promised land. And here the law seems very clear. The only choice you seem to have is whether to observe the festivals or not. But interestingly enough, our sages pointed out that these festivals provide us with other choices that have to be made. So some of you may know that in more traditionally observant forms of Judaism, a Kohen, somebody who is a descendant of the priestly line, is not supposed to come in contact with a dead body. And the only exception of this is for a meit mitzvah, that is, a body that nobody has taken responsibility for. And for if a priest, even a high priest, comes across a meit mitzvah, they are to make themselves impure and take care of the burial. But what if this is the choice? What if you are the high priest and you are on your way to the paschal sacrifice for Passover, one of the most important sacrifices of the year, and you come across a meit mitzvah? If you bury it, you will become impure and not be able to properly celebrate the festival of Passover. So what do you do? I'm not asking for the answer yet. On Shavuot, we commemorate the moment in time when God revealed Torah to us. So what if God appeared to you and you're involved in a conversation with God and you hear a knock on your door and it's strangers looking for food? What do you do? In regard to Sukkot, let me present you with a different choice. You have been appointed to go a long distance to secure the release of a captive who is being held for ransom. While traveling, the holiday of Sukkot arrives. Should you stop your journey for the duration of the holiday in order to find a sukkah in a town or a city? Or should you ignore the demands of the holiday and go ahead to ransom the prisoner, speed up the release of the prisoner, or sit in the sukkah? That's the choice. Now, understand here, we have choices. In each case, whatever you're doing, you're fulfilling a mitzvah. You're doing something important. You're doing something holy. Either burying the dead or offering the paschal lamb, either communicating with God or welcoming strangers, either eating in a sukkah or ransoming a prisoner. So it's not such an easy choice. So each of these questions is a question that the sages actually discuss. I know they must have had a lot of time on their hands, but they did discuss. These questions. And there is a remarkable insight that comes from each of these. In each of the three cases, the question comes down to what comes first, God or human beings? God with the paschal sacrifice, or the person with the burial of the dead? God with communicating with God, or a person knocking at your door? God and sitting in the sukkah and fulfilling that mitzvah for God, or a person going to ransom someone else? And in each of the cases, the rabbis decided, indeed, the Jewish law is God can wait. Human beings take precedence. So if you see people who are outwardly ritually observant and ethically impaired, they don't pay their workers fair wages, they cheat in their business or on a spouse, they take advantage of others, they are missing the point. Remember, the Torah taught us this Shabbat that we have free will, we make our own choices. But maybe even more important, the Torah teaches us at the end of this portion, when the choice is serving God or serving your fellow human being, humanity comes first. People take precedence. My teacher and colleague, Rabbi Daniel Hartman of the Hartman Institute in Jerusalem, wrote a book a number of years ago called Putting God Second. That's the title of the book. Kind of a weird book for the rabbi to write, right? That's what it feels like. But really what he's saying is that if you think that God's telling you to do something, and we have lots of people in this world who do, and that thing somehow impinges on the dignity of other human beings, or doesn't pass the ethical test of the golden rule, then it's not really what God wants you to do. So whatever you think God is saying, put it second. On Yom Kippur, coming up, boy do I know it, the Haftorah, which is read from the book of Isaiah, cries out, Is this not the fast I have chosen, to loosen the fetters of wickedness, to undo the bonds of the yoke, to let the oppressed go free, and that you break every yoke? Is it not to give your bread to the hungry and bring your poor into the house, when you see the naked to clothe them? Isaiah is telling the Jewish people that all the fast and all the rituals to God, which of course the rabbis who chose this Haftorah for Yom Kippur want people to do. They want people to do these fasts and these rituals. But they lose all meaning if you do those things and yet are still insensitive to your fellow human beings. Too often we make the wrong choices. Too often we don't open our hearts to the people who are around us. Many of you know the story of the great sage Hillel, when somebody who wants to convert to Judaism comes before Hillel and says, teach me all of Torah while on one foot. And Hillel says, in his own paraphrase of Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, love your neighbor as yourself, that he flips the other direction. He says, what is hateful to you, do not do to your neighbor. The rest is commentary. Now go and learn it. There's another understanding of this text. Rabbi Benjamin Bleich, in his book Understanding Judaism, says what's meant here. And one is that standing on one foot means a very brief explanation. That's how we usually understand it. And actually, sometimes in Jewish shorthand, people will say, so tell me what you mean on one foot, right? That just means like the quick version. But there's another understanding here. The Torah has 2 feet. It has 2 tablets on which it stands. The first tablet relating to the laws between the human being and God, and the second tablet relating to the laws between one human being and another. And in this sense, the question that perhaps this person is asking is, which takes precedence? And Hillel's response is, what is hateful to you, do not do to your neighbor. Hillel makes a choice here. There are 2 great loves in Judaism, right? The love of your neighbor, and you shall love the eternal your God with all your heart, right? But Hillel recognizes that if a choice must be made, how you act to your fellow human being takes precedence. So the High Holy Days are around the corner. Boy, do we know it. It's time to start thinking about how to improve ourselves. And for many of us, there's lots of room for ritual improvement. And for all of us, there is plenty of room for ethical improvement. And it's up to us. Let's choose wisely. Then we will be able to fulfill the words of our tradition. This day and every day may we find grace, compassion, and mercy in God's eyes and in the eyes of all who look upon us. Shabbat Shalom. We turn to, for those who are in places that you have light, we turn to page 253 for our Misha Berach blessing.
Holy One, blessed our mothers, blessed our fathers from ancient days. Bless and heal those in our hearts, and hear our prayer as we say their names. Akadosh. Gimelei rachamim aleihem v'hachzikam u'rapeotam v'yishlach lahem refuah shlema refuat hanefesh refuat haguf v'toch sha'ar Israel, oh bless and heal those in our hearts, and hear our prayer as we say their names.
As I come through the congregation, please share names that you're thinking of. Rebecca Gilman, Hannah Fields Austin, Sue Tovak, Roslyn Lefkowitz, Ellen Weinfeld, Pam Poliakov, Kathy Blumenfeld, Caitlin Antrim, Jennifer Rudin, Brad Holland, Serena Postal, Robert Strober, Marilyn Lubarsky, Joni Wars, Nomi Kravitz, Myra White, Lori Snyder, Charity Razadeh, Mike Klein, Barbara Fass, Joel Beasy, Gloria Foster, Rita Warshaw, Robert Gerard, Adele Harris, Brenda Fallon Gerard, Jan Marcus, Marla Fragosa, Al Shapiro, Jeff Nelson, Robert Waldman, Barry Lustafero, Judith Gratz-Delane, Eva Laxon, Sharna Blitz, Eli Wakefield, Rob Scher, Audrey Kubel, Deborah Delane, James Stead, Rita Elias, Benjamin Jones, Stephen Gilbert, Sharon Zaki, Neil Barron, Karen Rosenthal, Oliver Holland, Rabbi Malcolm Middleman, Bill Hughes.
Akadosh Baruch Imalei Rachamim Aleichem. Oh, bless and hear those in our hearts, and hear our prayer as we say their names.
It's not Shabbat, right?
No, it's Friday.
Well, okay, the first day is the.
But it's not Shabbat.
We are going to turn to page 261. As we bless the new month. Yeah, okay, Friday.
Yehi ratzon milfanecha, Yehi ratzon milfanecha, Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, shetekadesh aleinu et ha-chodesh haba letova, v'lichra u'vilachta. V'titen lanu chaim arukim, chaim shel shalom, chaim shel panasa, chaim shedehevanu ahavat Torah, v'yirat shamayim, chaim shimalu mishalot libenu letova.
Amen.
Amen.
Our God and God of our ancestors, may the new month bring us goodness and blessing. May we have long life, peace, prosperity, a life exalted by love of Torah and reverence for the divine, a life in which the longings of our hearts are fulfilled for good.
Rosh Chodesh Elul Yeh Beyom Shishi. Rosh Chodesh Elul Yeh Beyom Shishi.
The new month of Elul begins on Friday. That also means that starting next Shabbat, when you join us, we'll be sounding our shofar as we gather and whenever we gather as a community, as we get ready for the new year.
Also, exactly 1 month from Rosh Hashanah Erev.
He just does that to me. I don't know what that is. It's just like a zetz. It's like a zetz. Yeah. All right.
There's Zetzmeister, that's what they call me.
All right. I'd like to invite Lee Kane to come forward and share some announcements and greetings from the Board of Trustees.
Careful of the cords. Careful of the cords.
We're a little different height, you and I, you and me. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. On behalf of the board, I'd like to thank you all for being here with us, both in the sanctuary and online. Toda Rabbah to Rabbi Kupitz for leading our service in such an inspiring way. And last time I did this, you were not here, so I'm glad to see you back. Providing, looks like a lion got your hand there.
I would be in a lot worse shape. I would be lying if I told you.
And providing your richness in voice and music, and to Dr. Randy Polivoy for your lovely piano piece and accompaniment, and appreciation to Claudia Gonzalez, who handles our technology so expertly. I would like to thank our bar mitzvah boy there, Asher Baker, did such a wonderful job. Lovely family. I've been reminiscing about my days sitting there, and it's lovely to watch you all. Thank you to our fellow congregants who generously donated delicious items for tonight's oneg. That includes, and to our dedicated challah helpers, including Mary Stevens Levy and Sharon Regalado. Sorry about that. Want to thank the greeters, the outside greeters, Kylie Sykes, Vicki Hollander, and Judy Rose, and our driveway greeters, the security guard, and David Geller. Please join us after the service when we gather in the social hall for Kiddush, motzi, refreshments, and conversation, and take that opportunity to get to know someone new. And if you were in our meeting last night, maybe look at somebody and say, join me, if you don't know them, and have them sit with you. We have a busy and engaged community. Find what interests you in our weekly update called the Tikiyah that comes in your email every Thursday, and in our Kehillah that's mailed to you, and on our website and Facebook pages. I want to remind everybody, if you haven't yet, to please turn in your pledge packets. If you have already, thank you very much. It makes our lives easier. But if you haven't, if you could do that. The High Holy Days schedule is finalized, and you can find that online on our website and in the Tikiyah. And I'd like to invite you to join the TBI community for our welcome barbecue on Friday, August 25th from 6 to 7. Please bring a side dish to share. We'll provide the hot dogs, hamburgers, and a vegan option. It'll be Shabbat under the stars following the barbecue, and you can RSVP to the TBI office by August 23rd. And that's about it. Shabbat Shalom.
I'm going to turn to page 282. For Aleinu L'Shabach. Please rise if you're able.
Aleinu L'Shabach Ladon HaKol Lateit Gedula Leotzer Reshit Shelo Asanu Kigoyei Haratzo Velo Samanu Kemishbechot Hadama Shelo Sam Chelkenu Kahem Vegor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Page 287. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
$294. We take a moment to remember those who have been important in our lives and have left this earth, those who have died in recent days or at this time in years past. Remember the recent death of Cheryl Ferguson, friend of Steve Eli, the yortzites of Richard Baer, Muriel Gearson, Carol Goldstein, Linda Rose Harris, Eleanor Jean Lerner, Mary Schneider, Eva Nauman, Jacobo Pecker, Janet Smith, Norman Stone, Isidore Goodman, Viola Hamelin, Lena Nell, Ralph Metlitsky, Kurt Berlin, Milton Blumenfeld, Sarah Gershman, Laura Litton, Celia Straussman, Doris Wirtz, Penny Catcham, Sally Kay, Nina Morse, Drew Satin, Reuben Schaefer, Lucy Goldberg, Earl Silden, Rendell Doc Livonian, Baba Osipov, Beverly Payan, and Serena Schoenfeld. If you're remembering somebody on the Shabbat, you'd like to add their name to those that I've mentioned, please do so as I come by your row.
Robbie Robertson.
All who have died in recent natural disasters and conflicts, hold them in our hearts. If you're in a time of mourning or observing a yortzeit, the anniversary of a death on this Shabbat, I invite you to rise. And I invite the rest of the congregation, if it's your custom, to rise in embrace and support of those who mourn. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah, v'yalmad b'vrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'yomechon u'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, b'agalav v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudisha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiram bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom v'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. We'll conclude with Biyado, which, for those with bionic eyes, is on page 321 at the bottom of the page. But otherwise, don't worry about it. And we'll go through it together. Here we go. Oh, I can say that. I can give announcements for after services before services are over. That way, we don't have to do that. When we're done here, we will be going inside for our Kiddush, Motzi, and refreshments. But to make things a little bit easier, we do ask that you take your prayer books back to the table where you got them, and that for those who are strong and are willing to stick around for a few minutes and help stack chairs into stacks of 8 or so, that's helpful too for our custodial crew to then be able to pick them up and bring them inside. We're going to close again with Biyado 321.
Biyado af kiduchi, ve'eti shan ve'ya'ira, ve'imruchi geviati, Adonai li ve'lo ira, ve'imruchi geviati, Adonai li ve'lo ira.
My soul I give to you.
My soul I give to you.
My spirit in your care.
My spirit in your care.
Draw me near, I shall not fear.
Draw me near, I shall not
Hold me
fear.
in your hand.
Hold me in your hand.
Draw me near, I shall not fear.
Draw me near, I shall not fear.
Safely in your hand.
Safely in your hand.
My soul I give to you, my spirit in your care. My spirit in your care. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Hold me in your hand. Hold me in your hand. Draw me near. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Safely in your hand.
My soul I give.
afki bruchi be'eti shan ve'a'ira be'eti shan ve'a'ira ve'imruchi gviati ve'imruchi gviati Adonai li v'lo ira Adonai li v'lo ira ve'imruchi gviati Adonai li v'lo ira. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody online. Thank you for joining us. Sorry, we had a little Facebook challenge, but
Facebook failure.
But hopefully we took care of that quick enough time that you didn't lose too much. You got to see Asher. That was important. So thank you all so much. We'll see you next Shabbat.